Hello everyone, I'm the champ, Torisho Tsimecha Tupaimang. Welcome to the Impact Show. This is episode number 3. Today I'm alone, I'm not with any guest, but more and more of them are coming, definitely. So in this episode, we are going to lay a foundation for future episodes where we are going to talk about men. So this is a foundational episode where we'll be talking about the different personality traits of men. You remember in episode number 1, I did mention that men generally are classified into 4 different categories, which is alpha males, sigma males, beta males, and gamma males. So I thought it fit that in this episode we go deeper into those personality traits so that we can understand them, so that in the future when we talk about men we will already laid with the most basic part of being a man. And you can be watching there as a man. This is an opportunity for you to evaluate yourself and say, okay, I think I resonate more with this kind of personality trait. Like I said in episode 1, that will help you better to know yourself more, to understand yourself more, and to relate yourself better to whoever that you need to relate yourself to. You may be watching, maybe you have a brother, it will be good for you to watch. You have a partner, a husband, it will be good for you to watch. Maybe it's a business partner that sometimes you struggle to understand, or it's a younger brother, or you have a child that you, for that matter, you are struggling to understand. Learning about these personality traits will help you to classify your brother, your partner, your husband, your business partner, your colleague. Okay, no, this guy is actually more like this, more like that. Therefore, you will also, as a woman in his life, whether you are a woman as a sister or whatever position that you occupy, you will be able to relate yourself better to that particular man. So we are going to go straight into this different personality traits. The first one that we are going to look at, we are going to look at gamma males. We are going to look at a personality that is called gamma males. Gamma males are generally known to be intelligent, empathetic, and they are very self-aware, which means they have self-awareness. These are intelligent guys. When I talk about intelligence, I'm talking about the people who get a straight A report card, the people who understand it or don't struggle to understand when they are in the classroom or when they are in a lecture room. All other personality traits, they can also be intelligent, but at the core, gamma males are known to be intelligent. They can understand complex statistics, complex data, they can grasp it, complex mathematics, complex physics. They don't struggle to understand that kind of information. They don't have to study long hours, they don't have to cross night in order for them to understand what the lecturer was saying. An average man might need maybe 3 hours of personal study to prepare for the exam. An intellect, one lecturer in the afternoon, 1 hour might be enough. So most of the guys who are known to be intelligent, even those who shaped history, who invented things, who invented bridges, who invented all the technological advances, those are the guys that were mostly intelligent. They are also empathetic, which means that they care about the feelings of other people. They like to nurture people. They like to grieve with those who are grieving. You understand? There are certain men that you can grieve and they don't care. I mean, they just give you a cold shoulder. You are going through a tough time and they will say, man, that's nothing. I mean, that's a small thing. Like in Tswana, we will say, they don't try to tap into the pain that you are feeling or try to understand what you are going through. Whether what you are going through is a breakup with the woman that you loved, or whether what you are going through it's maybe retrenchment, or the business is not doing well, or maybe your health is up and down. Gamma males, they are generally empathetic. They like to nurture people. They like to be there for people. They like to feel what people feel. You understand? And they are also very much self-aware. They have self-awareness in terms of they are aware of what they are capable of. These are the guys that will not take chances. They know I'm not good at sport. So they won't even bother to try to be good at sport. The whole community can be gathered playing football. But if a gamma male knows that I don't have the legs for football, he makes peace with it, he understands it. They don't try to venture into things that they know that they are not naturally talented or gifted on. They are simply just like that. You understand? So they are self-aware of what they're capable of and what they are not capable of. And those things that they know that they can do, they generally give their best into those things, whether they are mechanics, or whether they are good at supporting someone's dream, someone's vision, or whether they are good at driving, they whatever that is good that they can do, they generally do it very well. So that is the first thing that we can say about gamma males. And then in terms of relationships and friendship, they value friendship so much. These are the guys that normally they will sustain the friendship. There are men who don't value friendship. They only associate with you when they've got something that they can benefit from you. You understand? Or they only associate with you for a season. Sometimes they even use you as a stepping stone or as a step ladder to where they want to go. From there, they forget about you. People that you can open doors for, people that you can speak for, people that you can push their CV forward, people that you can help them to get employed. But at the end of the day, their attitude, you realize that, no man, this person actually, he did not value this relationship. He was just in for this particular thing. But gamma males value relationships so much. Those are the guys that when you get a tire burst or you are stuck with a car at night, they will go to extreme lengths to assist you, whether they come personally or they will look for someone who can assist you. So these are the people who they do well as far as friendships are concerned. When it comes to love life, they also do well in relationships because they are soft, they are kind, they flow with the women. They don't have a traditional mindset of I'm the man, this is my house, this is my relationships, things are done the way I want them to be done. So gamma males generally, they do well in relationship. They can have the persona of being nice guys, but they are not nice guys. But they can have a persona of being like they are nice guys, but they are not really pushovers because they're intelligent. They can read into situation and understand emotions. But generally, they tend to do well in love because they don't normally try to push the traditional thinking of a man being the head, a man being the head. They are comfortable in their own space. And they also make good colleagues. Those are the colleagues that maybe, let's say you lose your job or you are resigning, you go somewhere. Those are the guys that will call you and reach out to you. Some guys, okay, it's business as usual, it's over, you move on with your life, I move on with my life, I'm here. But gamma males are the guys who will try to reach out to a colleague when they see that the colleague is not good. You understand? Some guys, they'll just say, their money, he must just get his life in order, he must just get his finances in order, he must just control his woman, or he's been he's a man, he will make a plan. No, gamma males are those guys they will step in, they will want to know, hey chief, are you okay? How are you doing? How are things? How is the child? If maybe the child was not feeling well and not feeling good. So that is the second thing that you can understand about gamma males. The third thing is that they are not power hungry, nor do they seek the spotlight. Those are gamma males. They are, there are guys that are power hungry. We'll come to that personality trait. They are comfortable in their own space. If their education makes them occupy top positions, then it's fine. If they are gift or what they do, maybe in church, put them under the spotlight, then it's fine. But by themselves, they will not naturally try to be on the spotlight, try to be seen, try to be visible, try to be audible. No, they are good in their own space. When they're doing something well, they will normally say, no, it's fine, you don't have to mention me. Whether they get the compliment or they don't get complimented, it's okay. In fact, they'll prefer that you compliment them in your corner with them in their space. When you take pictures and try to blow a vuvuzela as to what this man is doing or what he has done, normally he will opt to do away with that if he had a choice. So they are not power hungry. Though they may have qualities, abilities, or the education or the skill that should put them in authoritative position or leadership positions, and they normally don't seek the spotlight. Whether they are being seen or they are not seen, they are comfortable. In other words, it means that they are low key. A good example to someone who is a gamma male is Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is the man who was a great inventor, the man who invented the electric current known as AC. He modified the invention world by inventing something called alternating current. Nikola Tesla was a man who was not trying to appear to be a great inventor, though there is arguable reports that some of his work was stolen, that some they will say he's the true father of the radio. He was the one who invented the radio. Marconi maybe stole it from him. There are those conspiracy theories and stuff. But this is the man who invented alternating current, electricity. You understand? He was deeply involved in his work as an inventor, doing things that will advance the world forward in terms of technology. But he was a low-key guy. He was close to his mother. Even when he was about to die, he wrote a letter to his mother telling him about how he wished, I'm just going to paraphrase it, how he wished he was close to his mother. He will bring him a glass of water, because somehow he felt like all his work that he did for humanity, at the end of the day, it was not appreciated. But this is a man who did not seek a spotlight. This is a man who did not try to compete with other inventors in terms of trying to steal the show, in terms of trying to be the big guy, in terms of trying to have an unhealthy competition. He was just focused in his work. He was doing what he do best. He was just low-key, but he had the skill and the talent and the intellect to be able to invent something known as alternating current. And yet today, when historians and inventors have been mentioned, he's mentioned in a nutshell, if he's ever mentioned at all. So that's what we talk about when we talk about a gamma male, more or less. What we talk about gamma male. So if you are a man, you can assess yourself in terms of the information that I have shared and see whether you fall into that category. Category number 2 that we are going to be focused on is what we call beta males. What we call beta males. When you look at the history of personality traits of men, you'll find that most men were just defined as either being beta or as either being alpha males. The sigma males and the gamma males are discovered because it was discovered normal. The alpha males are too extreme and the beta males are way too low, and there's nothing in between. So from the origin of the definition of the personalities of men, in trying to understand men and classify them as to what kind of species are these, it was only the beta males and the alpha males. And the beta males are the guys which are friendly and approachable. That is the first thing about them. There are men that you just look at them and you just fear approaching them. But very busy or the whole day. You don't know if the guy is chewing a sour chappies. You don't know if the guy is angry. You don't know if the guy is bitter. And some they will say, I'm ugly just like this, don't worry. But there are men who are just not friendly and they are just not approachable. I was watching a podcast of one of the famous politicians in our country, and he says that he went to his house with his friend, and then when he got to his house, his kids were running to him, jumping on him, happy that the daddy is home. And later on, his friend said to him, Emona, your kids are very fortunate to have a father like you. You say, me, when I was growing up, the friend said to the famous politician, when I was growing up, when our father entered the gate, we disappeared. We went to our rooms because it's like the lion now has arrived. Everything has to be perfect. You understand? The glass cannot fall down and break. The noise in the kitchen, the noise in the bedroom. He just carried this persona of being authoritative and of being like a lion in the house, and we just didn't know how to behave around him. So beta males are the guys that even if he's a stranger, maybe in a taxi rank or in the mall or in the queue in some shopping center, they are just friendly and approachable. Maybe your phone is flat, you need to make an urgent phone call. You scan around the room or you scan around the market where you are. There will be one guy with a friendly face and who looks approachable, and you can approach that particular person and say, Ish, I'm in a predicament, I need to make a phone call. And they will not look at you as bizarre or something else. So one of the first characteristics of beta males is that those are approachable guys. They are also dependable and they are trustworthy. They are dependable and they are trustworthy. If you give them a task, you can sleep at night. You know that they will get it done. They are not sneaky. They don't try to be clever. They don't try to be irresponsible and find some nice ways to cover up why they didn't do the job. At work, they don't try to lazy and then try to come up with the intellect. No, foreman, I couldn't do this because I needed this tool, or the system was slow, the Wi-Fi was not working, and so on and so forth. No, they are dependable and they are trustworthy, which also means that in terms of crisis or in terms of pressure, these are the people that you will normally reach out to first. And if they tell you that they are not available or they are occupied with something else, you will know that indeed they are available, they are not available, and they are occupied. And if they tell you that, hey man, I can assist you with this, then you know that really they cannot assist you with that. And if they tell you that I will do it, I will get it done, do not worry, you know that they will do it, and you know that they will get it done. And if they encounter some problems along the way, they are definitely going to call you, reach out, and tell you in advance, so that you can expect something that will not go accordingly, or you can know what is happening. They're not just going to keep quiet and they will say, no, I meant to tell you, and so on and so forth. So that is the characteristics of the beta male. They are mostly yes men, and this is because they avoid a conflict at all cost. They are those guys that you will call yes men. You know, when you look at, let me make an example of the working environment. You know, all working environment are different, because obviously different companies in different industries or fields, production based on different things. But there are always those guys that even when they are oppressed, man, you can see that they are oppressed. They won't say no. They won't question. They will just say, no, it's okay, I'll get it done. When they are overloaded with work, they hardly raise their voice. You understand? When maybe they are being spoken to in a harsh manner, maybe they are being spoken to by the supervisor or the foreman or the boss, they speak to them like they are little children. These are the guys that will hardly, if ever, stand up and defend themselves and say, no man, you can't talk to me like that. As opposed to Sigma males and Alpha males that will tell you straight to your face, oh chief, you don't talk to me like that, I'm not your child. You understand? If you talk to them harshly over the phone, those ones, they will hang up the phone on you. But these ones, you know, they will just be soft, they will just be kind, they will take the whole thing in. That's why sometimes they also say they are also vulnerable. They are emotionally vulnerable, because everyone feel like they can just pick up on them. Some filthy jokes, disrespectful jokes, people pick up on them. So maybe it's also a weakness for beta males that if they are not careful by being non-confrontational, they invite a lot of disrespect, or a lot of opportunistic people, a lot of chance takers who think that they can just take advantage of them. And not only in the workplace, also in relationships, they can be exploited in love relationships, or even relationship with their siblings. You understand? Because human nature, when it spots a weakness, even though unintentionally so, they tend to exploit that space and take advantage of that space. So beta males, most of the times, they are yes men. They hardly question. They are hardly ever confrontational. So if you have a man in your life, or a boy who is too soft, or who sometimes even when it's fair for him to raise his voice, you might want to start training him to raise his voice. That raising your voice or disagreeing does not mean that you are disrespectful. It does not mean that you have a problem or you have an attitude. It's part of life, where human beings are gathered and they are engaging. There will always be disagreements. There will always be misunderstandings. Therefore, when you are not happy, when you are not satisfied, it is totally okay to express your feelings. I trust that you are flowing with me and you are getting to understand yourself much better. The example, it will be like the example that I've given of those nice guys at work. Or another example that I can give, it's typical religious guys. Yeah, religion has a way of making men soft unnecessarily. And if religious men, especially in the Christian space, if they are not assertive, and they think that to be a good man or good Christian man, you must be soft and not raise your voice or not speak out, they will end up being unhappy. They will end up being broken. They will end up piling and picking up a lot of things in their emotions, in their feelings. I attended a wedding some years ago. And the pastor said that he was attending a hot Sunday. So when you talk about a hot Sunday service, for those of you who are not Christian, we are talking about that Sunday service church where it's good, the music is good, you know, the sermon is good. You feel like today, yeah, I'm from church. So when they got home to this pastor, that guy took a baseball bat, he smashed everything inside the house, breaking windows, breaking fridges, breaking, everything, destroying everything. And then later on, he said that he was just releasing the anger that was inside of him. And later on, the pastor friend learned that this guy has been piling up a lot of things throughout his life, not expressing himself, not being vocal, not being assertive, and he thought that's what it means to be a good Christian man, not addressing issues, avoiding issues, because every time he speaks loud, he addresses himself. It's being able to say, you say you are a Christian, but you are loud, you are angry, you are what. No. So if you are a guy who is a Christian, you want to be careful not to allow some religious thinking to steal your nature as a man, because a man, you are vocal by nature, you are adventurous, you want to stand out, you want to speak, you understand, you want to stand for something, you want to believe in something, you want to support something. So you need to be careful that you don't allow manipulation tricks, even at work, to say, you say you are a Christian, but look at how you are speaking back. No, respectfully so, orderly so, you can express yourself, you can stand your ground, you can still discipline a child and still be a good Christian man or father. You understand? You can still disagree. You can still separate with certain people and still be a good Christian. You understand? It doesn't mean that because there's separation. It doesn't mean that because the business partnership did not work. It doesn't mean that the relationship does not work. Therefore, then you are not a good Christian. That is just man's thinking and ideologies which have no basis of even scripture for that matter, to think that you must always be smiling, laughing, and taking up every nonsense that is this at you. So that is the beta males. Now we go to the sigma males. Let us go to the third personality type of the sigma male. The sigma males, they prefer to be independent, and they follow their own rules, and they don't conform to what is being accepted as normal. Sigma males prefer to be independent. They follow their own rules, and they don't conform to what is being accepted as normal. The worst thing that can happen to a sigma male is being dependent. Even if he depends on is not being abusive or exploitive, you understand, but by their nature, by their personality, they want to be independent. They want to have everything figured out by themselves. If they wake up and they are going to work because they have no choice but to go to work, they feel drained, because in their nature they feel like, I should be working because I want to work, not because I have no choice, not because bills are screaming. You understand? So these are the guys that they will want to be independent financially. They will want to be independent in terms of what they are thinking, their thought processing, whether it's accepted by people or not. But if they believe in certain ideologies, they will pursue them irrespective of the support, whether they get the support or not, and they will stand for what they believe for. So those are the sigma males. If something has been accepted as normal, no, here you don't talk, Baba. There's a leader here who talks. No, if he sees the need to talk, he will talk. He will raise his voice. That's why most of the time they challenge authority and leadership, sigma males, because some men, they'll just keep quiet. They can see the ship is sinking, they keep quiet. They can see something is not right in the church, they keep quiet. They can see maybe the choir is going down, they keep quiet. They can see that the business, the other partner is not pulling their weight in the business, they just keep quiet. They can see that their lover is misbehaving, they just keep quiet. They can see that the children are misbehaving in the house, maybe they start coming late, or maybe they are behaving a strange way, they disappear, they pop up from somewhere, they just keep quiet. No, sigma males, they speak, they are vocal, they are confrontational for that matter, and they challenge the status quo. Those are the sigma males, and they generally don't conform to what has been accepted as normal. They are hardly bothered, if ever, by what other people think or say about them. Because look, we are living in a world where people have a lot to say. People have a lot to say. People have a lot to say about anything. They have a lot to say about anything. And social media also has created a platform for everyone to say something that they want to say. You understand? Sigma males are the guys that can keep going even though there's a lot of noise behind them. They can face criticism, bruh. They can be criticized for their character. They can be criticized for their past. They can be criticized for the things that they even did. But they will not allow any criticism, any gossip, any slander, any bad mouthing, to any murmuring, to stop them in their tracks in terms of who they are, who they want to be, who they want to become, and what they want to achieve. They will keep going, irrespective of all the noise that is behind them. There were people who literally just give up and say, people are saying this, or they start to have a low self-esteem simply because of they are being judged or they are being criticized in a manner that is not constructive. But Sigma males are the guys that will just keep going. They will just keep going. Criticism, they will post about them, they will talk about them, newspapers and Twitter or whatever, but these are the guys that they will not be bothered what people say. They generally gravitate also towards leadership position. They have good leadership traits. They gravitate towards leadership positions, but they are not authoritative, which means that they hardly enforce their authority on people. You know, there are people by when you are under their leadership, you feel them. You feel them. They will make sure that you feel them. You understand? They will make sure that they are seen, they are visible, they are there. Yeah, Sigma males, they are secured leaders. They are not insecure leaders. They are leaders that will develop other leaders. They are leaders that will groom other leaders. They are in a church context. In a church context, they are those spiritual fathers that they will be happy to see a sun rising. And if a son is preaching a powerful sermon, they will not be insecure. If the church is talking all and about this young man who is so powerful in church, who's preaching and who they wish would preach more. No, a Sigma male who is a pastor, a leader who is a Sigma male, he will not be bothered by that. He will applaud the young man, he will advise him where he needs to advise him, he will encourage him to grow, develop, correct this, correct that, but he will not be bothered by that. A Sigma male who is a supervisor, when there is a moment of discussion and he came up with an idea and someone come with a different idea which is far better than his, he will put his aside right away and develop it and applaud the guy for coming with such an idea and thank the guy for coming up with such an idea and actually move the boat forward. They are open to ideas. They are open to discussions. They are open to opinions. They are open to advice. They are secured into who they are. They don't have to flash what they have. They don't have to show that they have money. They don't have to show that they are the leader. They are ones in power. They are the ones in control. They hardly ever enforce their authority on others, except of course at times when you need to do that, because there are people who will always test boundaries and try to take chances. So sometimes that's where you must just tighten your grip and let them know that they are not allowed to do that here. Example of a Sigma male, I will use a biblical example which you know very well, which is David from the Bible. When you look at David from his life as a 17-year-old boy, some theologians say he was 16, a shepherd boy. He had 5 brothers who were in the army. He was a shepherd boy, doing his work in his own space, not showing any ambitions of being in the spotlight like his brothers, not showing any feelings of maybe, being envious of his brothers. He was just, in fact, his brothers had a problem with him. Though they were visible, they were soldiers, they were well known, but David's quiet spirit more often irritated them. That's why even when the prophet, you'll find the story in 1 Samuel chapter number 16 and chapter number 17. That's when the prophet Samuel went to anoint a son in Jesse's house. Jesse is the father of David. David was not even called because he was not considered as significant. And when he comes, because God showed Samuel that none of the sons that are in front of you is supposed to be the king. You understand? When David came, the brothers, they did not take it lightly that David was anointed king in front of them. 1 Samuel chapter 17, David goes to the battlefield. He finds men scared, afraid of Goliath. And he starts asking around, doing his homework as to what is the price for killing this man. After David killed Goliath, he doesn't blow a horn. You understand? He doesn't try to, it is the women who composed the song and said, Saul killed his 1,000, David killed his tens of thousands. David remained calm. David remains cool. When he was king, when he became king, he said, is there any man from the house of Saul of whom I can show favor to? I mean, Saul wanted to kill you all these years, But yet when you become king, because he was king before you, you want to show favor to anyone who may still remain, who belongs to his family. So this is an example of a Sigma male who recharges in his own space. Unlike as opposed to when he's amongst people, he plays his harp, he worships God, he wrote part of the Psalms. His testimony of killing the lion and the bear, he was in the desert, in the wilderness. No one knew that he once killed a lion. No one knew that he once killed a bear until the time when Goliath was there. And he had to say something to convince the king that I'm able to defeat this man. And he said, I'm going to have to mention that this is what I achieved in the past, to put more weight to my argument so that I can be allowed to fight Goliath. Only then does he mention it. But some other guys, a little promotion, they make noise. Get a job, they make noise. A little car, they make noise. I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. You can do that if you want to do that. But I'm showing you that Sigma males are the guys who are comfortable in their own space. They can be doing wonders in their private lives and they don't post about it. They don't share it. They don't see the need to display it. They don't see the need to be applauded, praised, and so on and so forth. They lose, in fact, a lot of energy when they are among people. Though they can be good advisors, though they are good leaders, they can share good thoughts, counseling, and so on and so forth. But at their best, they are recharged when they are alone, when they are by themselves. That is personality trait number 3. So we are going to the last one. We are going to the last personality trait, which is alpha males. The last personality trait, which is alpha males. Alpha males, they are dominant and they are assertive. My goodness. They are dominant and they like to dominate. They like to dominate the space. They like to dominate the room. Dominating not only by position. If they are not, let's say there's an event and maybe they are not in the program or they don't play a significant role to whatever that is good, the activities are going to take place in the day. They are going to try to come up with something so that they can be visible. Whether it's flashy clothes or a flashy car, or they like to steal the conversation. You'll have a discussion, he will just run away with the conversation. They are dominant by nature and they are very assertive. Assertive, it means that they want you to feel them. Yeah, they want you to feel their presence, that I'm the man here, I'm the big guy here, I'm the big shot, I call the shot. You understand? If maybe something is done and you thought that it was done by somebody else, whilst it was done by them, they will say, no. Actually, I'm the one who did it. I pulled this thing. I pulled this project. I'm the one who were involved in the baby stages of this particular project. I'm the one who gave birth to this idea. It actually came by me. So those are alpha males. They naturally gravitate towards leadership position because they are charismatic. They got the vibe. They know how to seduce the crowd. They know how to be charismatic. They are very oratory. You understand? They have the skill to speak, to express themselves, to say what people want to hear in a very nice, eloquent and sophisticated manner. So they naturally, even though they may be incompetent, but their aura and their charisma normally makes them gravitate towards a leadership position. And I can tell you, you will feel them when they are in leadership position. These are the guys that I can say, I'm a leader here, or I am the head here, or I am the boss here, or I am the man here. That's just the way they are. They gravitate towards leadership position, and when they are in power, I can assure you, you will feel them, or they will make sure that you feel them, or you know that they are the leaders. They like to be visible and audible, and they recharge when they are among people. Alpha males, when they are by themselves, they get bored. These are not introverts. They are not indoors gang. In indoors gang are the people who can spend the whole weekend indoors. Maybe just go outside just for a little walk and come back. You understand? Inside the house, watch movies the whole weekend or the whole day, watch football the whole day, rugby, any kind of sport. You understand? But Sigma males, alpha males, when they are by themselves, they go crazy. They want to be seen, they want to be visible, they always have an opinion, they want to share, they want to say something, they want to be vocal. If they are not circulating, if they are not being visible around people, they lose themselves because they are so concerned about what people think about them, what people say about them. Did they say I was a good master of the ceremony? Is the boss impressed with my work? You understand? Did I sing well, or did I preach well? What are the people saying? You understand? Did they see my car? Did they see my woman, how beautiful she is? They recharge when they are around people. They feed on people's attention. They feed on people's approval. And they tend to have a fragile ego, by the way. They tend to be very fragile, though they can cover it up very well. But a little criticism makes them go crazy. It makes them go mad. They can be extremely sensitive and insecure alpha males. That's why when they are challenged, they can take it as if like you are fighting them. So this is the personality traits that most of them, they become tyrants and dictators. The most vulnerable people to become tyrants and dictators, and I challenge you to look at history, are alpha males. They are most vulnerable to become. You can look at Hitler. You can look at Goliath, the one that David defeated. You can look at Julius Caesar. You understand? Napoleon Bonaparte. You can go so much into history. Who's this guy? Alexander the Great. So they are most vulnerable to falling into this trap of being dictators and tyrants because they are power hungry. They are controlling. They are sensitive. They want their way. Is their way, or there's no other way, or there's a highway. They want their word to win, their opinion to be taken, their advice to be taken. They want to control the narrative, how people think, how people see, how people react. They want to be the center of attention. So they are very, very vulnerable to being dictators and tyrants. So a good example will be Julius Caesar. Let's take a look at Gaius Julius Caesar. Is the man who was, according to history, was born 100 years before Jesus Christ was born. And he died in the year 44 BC, which means it was 44 years before Jesus Christ was born. You understand? On the Ides of March, the 15th of March, we know the story. Caesar, when he was 16 years old, he was riding what we'll call a cart today, like a goat chariot. A chariot is a cart pulled by a horse or two horses. So he will pull, he'll have a chariot pulled by a goat and portray riding it around like a Roman conqueror, like he had conquered in a warfare. You understand? Like he's a sophisticated soldier at 16 years old. So it shows you how ambitious the man was at the age of 16. It is said that when he was in his early 30s, he saw the statue of Alexander the Great. I think he was 33 years. He saw the statue of Alexander the Great, and he asked, "Whose statue is this?" And they saw it's Alexander the Great statue. And he asked, "Who is Alexander the Great?" And Alexander the Great, they said to him, "No, it's this guy who conquered the world. He took over from his father, the kingdom of Macedonia, and so on and so forth." And he broke down into tears and he wept. And he says, "I am 33 years old. I have not conquered anything. And this man at my age had already conquered the world." Caesar, when he eventually conquered the world, power went to his head. He disrespected members of Senate, what we'll call members of the government today. He dismissed his bodyguard. He walked around alone with no bodyguard, like no one will touch him because he said that he's a god. This is the man who redefined laws without consultation. He will just walk into the Senate meeting. The Senate meeting is what we'll call a parliament sitting today, and sit there and announce a set of rules without voting. He announced himself dictator for life. He married a foreign woman, Cleopatra, the Egyptian, who was totally different to how the Romans perceived a traditional woman. She was very seductive, very revealing in her body parts and in her dress code. And Caesar even dared to make a statue of her at Rome, which was quite bizarre at that particular time, according to Roman traditions. You understand? So this is a man who was a tyrant. This is the man who was a dictator, who started well, but he became a tyrant and a dictator, controlling. He killed people for no reason to protect his political ideologies and agendas. You understand? And eventually he became a tyrant. So that's a good example of an alpha male who feed on people's attention, who is controlling and very assertive and dominant, and if not careful, he can take things to the extreme. He can be, he's vulnerable to being an abuser, an alpha male. He's vulnerable to being a serious abuser. He's vulnerable to being a dictator. And he's also vulnerable to unfortunate circumstances, because people will plot against him. People will sabotage him as a way of a coping mechanism, or to remove him, because normally his rule is ruling like an iron fist. He's very oppressive, controlling, and dictating everything. Those are the 4 personality traits of men and their examples. And if you are a man, I want to believe that you have had the opportunity to look at yourself, to assess yourself and see, where do I fall, where do I fit in. But in closing, all these men can become very good men, though they are different. You don't have to be a sigma male to be a good man, or a good leader, or a beta male to... No. With your personality traits, you can become a good man. You can become a good brother. You can become a good co-worker. You can become a good husband. You can become a good leader. You just need to understand yourself, work more on those weaknesses so that they don't present themselves as pitfalls, and do more that you do best so that you can flow more with yourself as opposed to working against yourself. All these men, they can make a good lovers, like I said. They can have beautiful women, all this kind of men, because there are women that will resonate with all different types of men. You understand? There are women who will resonate with alpha males. They want men in power, men who are assertive, men who are vocal. But the women again who also love men who are chilled, men who are calm, men who who don't like the spotlight, who are just reserved in their own space. There are women who resonate with them. So you don't have to now worry as a man that, now I'm not going to get women or a good woman because now maybe I'm too soft, or I'm a yes man. No, there are women who will resonate with you. There are companies who will resonate with you. There are people who want to do business who will resonate with your personality traits, irrespective of how they are, because sometimes the nature of the event or of the situation requires you to be of this particular personality, so that things can be in order. And it doesn't mean that you cannot tap into the traits of other men as occasion demands. You understand? As occasion doesn't mean that you are limited. There are occasions where you have to be vocal, like I said, and stand your ground where you need to. And all of them, they can make a lot of money and live a good, successful life. All of this personality trait doesn't mean that because you are assertive, you are dominant, now maybe there will be all opportunities will be shut against you, doors will be closed. No, doors will be open. In fact, there are doors that will be open for you simply because you are outgoing, you are out there, you are loud, you put yourself out there. If you don't promote yourself, what you do, what you are capable of, you will never be seen. You understand what I'm saying? So it might not be your qualification per se that will open doors for you and give you a successful, comfortable life. It might be your personality trait that will carry you to the next level, to open doors for you and be a good guy. Personality traits: Sigma, Alpha, Gamma, Beta. Know yourself as a man. Understand yourself as a man. Flow with yourself as opposed to working against yourself. You can engage other materials which will help you to know yourself and understand yourself much better, so that you can relate yourself better to the people that you need to relate yourself to. It's a foundational episode for episodes that are coming later, where we'll be talking and dealing about men. I'm the champ, Torisho Tsimera Tuperman. This is The Impact Show. On YouTube, at Torisho Tsimera 6033, Facebook, Torisho Tsimera, Instagram, Torisho Tsimera, TikTok, The Impact Show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for staying with us. We are doing this. We are moving forward. God bless you.